Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the kitchen here at Markelly Farm. It's almost lunch and we're going to stir up something pretty good for lunch. We're going to have a chicken mushroom curry. So stick around. We're going to make that. We'll show you how to do it. So Kelly and I had our annual family and friends Christmas party last night, and we have some leftover chicken because I made chicken as the dish that I took. So I'm going to use that chicken in our curry. Here's all of our leftover chicken. I'm not going to use all of it. I'm going to use some of it for eating here the next couple days. But I've got some barbecued chicken thighs that I did out on the barbecue yesterday. So we're going to start with our big heavy enameled Dutch oven here, and we're going to start with about a half a stick of butter, and we'll get that going. So as our butter starts to melt, we've got a half a white onion that we just rough chopped, and we'll get that going. We'll get the other ingredients ready. Now you might ask yourself, why am I watching a video with a guy wearing a John Deere hat making curry? Well, just because we live in the Midwest doesn't mean we don't like good food. We're not all just meat and potatoes type people. So you're also going to have to give me a break on some of the ingredients because it's hard to source some of this stuff in middle Nebraska or other little small towns around our country here. Now, one of those ingredients we're talking about is normally when you're making a curry, you're going to use what's called ghee, which is basically clarified butter is all it is. But we're just going to use butter. We don't mind the milk fat in there. It's not going to hurt us. The other thing we're going to use is powdered ginger, which normally you would use fresh ginger, but again, it's hard to come by in our area. But we are going to use fresh garlic because in our curry, you would want to use a ginger garlic paste if you can source that at your store. Unfortunately, we can't. We're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger and about 2 cloves worth of crushed garlic. Okay, our onions have been going about medium heat. Let's throw in our couple cloves of chopped garlic, or 1/4 teaspoon of powdered ginger. We'll wake all that stuff up. We're not going to brown it or anything like that. As soon as you can smell it and it becomes fragrant, you're good to go. So we have about 1.5 pounds of our cooked chicken here, and those are thighs, like I said. And what I did was I just quartered them. These are going to simmer down. You want a good bite of meat when you eat this dish. All right, we'll get that all warmed up, and then we'll go in with our next ingredient. Now, you don't have to use cooked chicken for this dish. You can put raw chicken into the mix. What I would do is I brown it first in the pot that you're going to cook it in, pull it out, then add your butter, and then start the process, then add your chicken back in later. But you can do this with more than just chicken too. You could do this with pork, any kind of meat you want, because the good thing about curry is you can put literally anything you want in it. Everything's warmed up in our pot. We took about a half a container of cremini mushrooms, which are just baby portobello mushrooms. Those are going to go in next. And then we're going to throw in some tomatoes. Okay, we've got a pint jar of our home canned tomatoes. This is 2 cups. We're going to give that a stir. Get that going in there. Then you take your pint jar, you rinse the inside with about a half of water, which is a cup, and then we'll pour that in our pot as well. Bring that back to a simmer. We're back up to a simmer. Our next ingredient is 2 teaspoons of our really good favorite curry powder. And don't turn off the channel Just because I said curry powder, we've discussed this before. Not all curry is created equal. Curry just means to bring things together. You can't label one particular spice like they do at the store as curry. I don't like that store-bought curry powder any more than you do. But you can find this stuff on Amazon. The people at the Chinese restaurant that we go to turned us on to this stuff, and it's absolutely amazing. Now, if you can't find this and you still want to make curry and don't want to use that store-bought curry powder, I'll go through some spices that you can use to make this dish. So if you don't have this spice that we're using here or want to buy that, take these items and mix them together. You need 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, 2 teaspoons of garam masala, which that's kind of optional, but I highly recommend it. 2 teaspoons of chili powder and 1 tablespoon of turmeric. Mix all that up and then add as much as you'd like into the dish. All right, the smell is just absolutely incredible. We're going to put the lid on this. We've got it on low. We're going to let this simmer for about 45 minutes. Please excuse the stains in the top of our pot. While our curry is simmering, we're going to start on some rice. Remember your standard rice recipe, 2 cups water, 1 cup rice. We've got our 2 cups of water in here coming to a boil. Let's rinse our rice. Got our 1 cup of rice here. Always, always, always rinse your rice. Rice doesn't come clean from the field, and they don't want to rinse it in water before they send it to you because that ruins the rice. It would mold in the bag, so they send it to you dry and dirty. So you just want to rinse it and get all whatever impurities are on it off. Also in my rice, I like to do about a teaspoon of salt and about a teaspoon of olive oil in my boiling water. Our water is simmering, so in goes the rice. Give that a little stir. Put the lid on and then 20 minutes. And remember, turn your fire down too. Okay, our curry's simmering away. We gave it a little taste. We're going to add some salt. I always taste it for salt towards the end because it's hard to tell how much salt your ingredients will have. Put about 1.5 teaspoons in there. We'll give that a try. Our rice is fluffy and gorgeous here. So, got the fire turned off. We've checked our curry here. The salt is perfect now. So we've got a little bit, probably about 5 or 10 minutes left on this, and then we'll go with the next ingredient. All right, our curry looks absolutely gorgeous in here. It's cooked down nicely. The sauce is nice and thick. So what we're going to do now is the other half a stick of butter, salted butter. That's equal to 1/4 cup. So we're going to let that simmer in and melt, and then we'll finish this baby off. Okay, it's time to finish off our curry. We have some cream that we skimmed off of our fresh cow's milk that we get. I'm adding about probably a good 1/2 cup of that. Look at that. And then we're adding about, I would say, 1/3 cup of cilantro chopped up into the mix. Your people across the pond will also call that coriander. They call the seed and the plant coriander. Or here in America, we call the plant cilantro and the seeds are coriander. So we'll bring that to a simmer, and then it is ready to serve over our rice. If you're not a rice fan, you could serve this over noodles just as easy. That's not traditional, but the good thing about making it yourself, you can do whatever you want. Now, most of the time they would use coconut milk in this instead of cream, but I'm not a huge fan of that. And again, do it the way you want to do it. And when we serve this up, we'll garnish with the rest of our cilantro. Isn't that beautiful? There we go, folks. There's our chicken and mushroom curry. Fantastic. Very similar to butter chicken if you've ever had that. So it's dinner time, which is lunch here in Nebraska. So we're going to dig in. Can't wait to do it. Hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you come back and see us here at the farm. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Love you guys. If I don't see you before then, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Markelly Farm. Love you guys.